Michael Faraday was born in a London slum in 1791. His father was a blacksmith. At 13, while working as a bookbinder, he secretly read the Encyclopaedia Britannica and became fascinated by electricity for the first time. At 14, he worked as a chemical apprentice, teaching himself while delivering newspapers. At 21, he sneaked into Humphrey Davy's Royal Institution lectures with a self-made ticket. After listening, he neatly wrote hundreds of pages of notes and sent them to Davy. At 22, when Davy was blinded by an explosion, Faraday became his assistant. At 28, he discovered the principle of electromagnetic induction, only to be accused by Davy of stealing my thunder and nearly expelled from the laboratory. At 32, he proved electromagnetic rotation using an iron ring, coils, and a magnetic needle, yet was mocked by the Royal Society for never attending a formal university. At 35, he invented the Faraday cage sitting inside. He was struck by hundreds of thousands of volts of high-voltage electricity unharmed, leaving the audience exclaiming witchcraft. At 39, he discovered benzene, but scribbled the formula on a note and casually stuffed it into a drawer, missing the chance to get rich. At 44, he refused to serve as president of the Royal Society, saying, "I only want to do experiments, not attend meetings." At 50, even the Queen invited him to dinner, but he politely declined in a letter. At 55, he refused the government's offer to build him a luxury mansion, asking only for a laboratory where I can see the River Thames. At 62, he declined burial in Westminster Abbey, stating, "Bury me with ordinary people." At 67, suffering from memory loss, he labeled all his instruments for fear of forgetting their uses. At 76, Faraday passed away peacefully in his cottage at Hampton Court. His last words, "I only asked nature one question in my life, and it finally answered me." He never attended university, never published a fancy paper, yet transformed electromagnetism from a toy into the cornerstone of modern civilization.